How are we today? Excited, I guess, from all the sports shouting and screaming, and it's good. I love watching you guys worship. Yesterday I had last week I had a message about one of our pillars, and I just felt like God saying, no, talk about worship. And I saw you guys worshiping today. You guys lifting your hands, standing, dancing in the corner over there. It's amazing. Shouting, clapping. Those are all things we want to practice all the time. But I am going to get into a pillar today, try to create some suspense around this, because we do pillars every single year, because it's important, it's who we are. But I was getting all my notes ready last night, and I just felt like a little change in perspective that I'm so excited to share with you guys. But I want to talk about, I don't know if this is because I'm teaching Old Testament Bible now, or my Old Testament Bible students. Jeez. Ashamed? Come on. And I love the stories. Like the Old Testament has the stories. What are some of the, if you just think, what are some of the most famous Bible stories? Tell me. Who? Jonah and the whale? Yeah, you were a VeggieTales person, I bet. What else? Noah's Ark. What? Adam. Adam's good. David, one of the best.
Gideon.
Elijah, someone said that just for Elijah's sake. That's great. Gideon, these are all good stories. Moses, thank you, I was waiting for that. Moses, okay, that's good. These are these are stories I think that we can even be you could go to a non-Christian and be like, you know any Bible stories? And surely they'll say some of these, oh yeah, there's this David and Goliath story. Noah's Ark. Moses. These are things that people know. What about the namesake of our school? Is that famous? Yeah? Pretty good? Upper half? Top 10? Top 10, guys? When we think about Daniel, it's the lion's den, the story that comes to mind, right? Yeah? Is Daniel bald? He is. They may have shaved his head. We don't know. But this is a story that we think about first. And it's a powerful story. I would suspect even non-Christians have heard this story. Because it's crazy. It's like this guy was sentenced unfairly, but the king loved him, but he still had to follow through on his word because Persian law is Persian law, and that's what happens. And they threw him into this place. And what was supposed to happen when he went to the lion's den? He's supposed to get eaten, which is gross, right? What is that? Do we know what that is? A form of what we would call capital punishment, right? It's like the death sentence, the death penalty. Does the United States have capital punishment? It does. It does. Do we do it like this? No. That would be bad. That would be very in your face. Do you guys know, this could be a little bit dwelling on some dark stuff here. Do we know how we do it here in the United States? Lethal injection. Who said that? Who knows? Asher knows this stuff. There used to be this thing called the electric chair, which is gnarly. I don't know how that even got passed. Before that, in the Wild West, what did they do? They would hang them. Someone said they shot him. That's in other parts of the world. It's called a firing squad. It's kind of crazy, right? But in this case, in this scenario, they would throw them into a den of lions. And this is actually how I imagine it, like a cave that's dark where the lions live, and maybe they have some kind of opening where they're able to just shove the guy in there. And the lions would not be generous. I'm sure they were hungry, and you don't want to get in the way of a hungry lion, right? So, Daniel, let's just sit on this for a while, because this is the Daniel Academy, right? He was taken from his home between the ages of 15 and 18. Who here is 15, 16, 17, or 18? It's intense, right? So he gets taken, and let's just imagine this for a little bit. Imagine you're home, and you get snatched out. So no more mom, no more dad, no more siblings, just you're on your own. Think about your bed, Think about your room. I don't know if you share a room or if you have your own room. It's gone now. Think about the school, your beloved TDA. You guys all love that. Like, that's gone. Your friends here are gone. Think about your favorite sweatshirt.
That did it? Really?
It's gone. The present sweatshirt is gone, guys. Your favorite TDA line sweatshirt is gone. Your clothes, your belongings. Who has like nice belongings? Do we? I was trying to think of this. I was like, what do you guys have? Like Switches, Nintendo Switch? Is that a nice belonging? I was thinking about my son Judah. Judah has this like, where's Judah? Judah has this like driving setup for his racing games. He's got a real steering wheel and that's a nice belonging. But imagine something you like, a thing. It's okay. We all have things. It's not unspiritual. It can't be. But in this case, it's just a thing. And it's gone. They took everything from him. Now imagine they snatched you away, you lost all that stuff. Let's just use Salo because he's fun. They took Salo and all his stuff, all his cool clothes, all his super cool hair, they like shaved it.
No.
Oh man. Salo, they took your name away. Let's just pretend it's a totally different culture. Let's pretend it's Russia. Your name is now Vladimir. I don't know. That's probably cool. It's Vladimir. No longer, people are like, Salo, who's Salo? It's Vladimir. And they're teaching you Russian. They're teaching you Russian culture. You're not allowed to be American or Brazilian. Like you can't do that anymore. No more of that good Brazilian barbecue. Like all that is gone. They're making you do their thing, right? Okay, Salo's about to cry. We'll stop. We'll stop talking about him. But imagine like you're snatched away from everything that made you who you were. Even to the point where they took your name away and they started to teach you their culture, right? So this dude, like, we're gonna cover off on Daniel a little bit. He didn't just survive, he aced it. He like thrived. He should have died. He should have become a hollow zombie nothing. Because they took everything from him. But instead what happens? He becomes one of the rulers of Babylon. And not only just Babylon comes, Babylon goes. Daniel stays. Ruler of Babylon, ruler of Persia. This dude, like, no one wants to let him go. And somehow, do we know the story here? Why does he end up in the lion's den? Anyone? Praying? That's good. I love the super polite people that raise their hands. I love the excited people who just shout out the answers. He was praying. And they made this law. Because Daniel should have been just a worthless, lowly slave that listened to them. Because he rose through the ranks so much, so quickly, and so high, people hated him. All the other people gunning for that position were like, we can't outsmart this guy. We can't. He's too good. Everything we do, everything we throw at him, take away his food, he just keeps growing. He just keeps excelling. And so we notice he prays. So they make this law to where if you pray for 30 days, because they know they got him, for 30 days, if you pray to anyone other than the king, you get in trouble. You get thrown in the license. So this is what happened. They were waiting for him. They knew it. 3 times a day, they knew that Daniel had this rhythm of prayer. And so they caught him. They took so much away from Daniel, but they could not take his faith away, his faith in God. They could not understand it, and they could not silence it, they could not take it. And prayer for Daniel was an expression of his faith. It is for us too. Say that to your neighbor. Say, prayer is an expression of our faith. Oh, I love it. Say it again. Prayer is an expression of our faith. Why is prayer so, this is a rhetorical question, you don't have to answer it. Why is prayer an expression of our faith is mysterious. We can't see it, we can't touch it, it's hard to prove to someone. That's why it's called faith. We just have faith in something, right? Prayer, can I just say this? Prayer is ridiculous. Think about it. Prayer is ridiculous. What are you doing? You're saying words to nobody. Well, we know God's hearing these prayers. It's all a faith thing. But think about it. What is prayer? We're saying words out of our mouth to a God that we hope is there. To a God that we hope cares. And to a God that we hope is powerful enough to do something about it. Right? And so, if you don't have faith, and you look at us praying, that looks ridiculous. And we here at the Daniel Academy want prayer, it's a pillar, but we want to turn to prayer first. So that's even more ridiculous. When a challenge comes up, when a problem arises, our gut normal instinct is not going to be to turn to prayer. But that's what we want it to be. But the reason why we don't turn to prayer is not a bad reason. It makes sense. Prayer is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. How is my situation, how is our situation as a school supposed to get better because we say these words out loud? And sometimes the words become angelic and we don't even understand it. But that's even more ridiculous, right? That just sounds crazy. But maybe because it's an expression of our faith, maybe, this is going to be hard to say, maybe prayer is the most important pillar we have. Never done that before, right? We have 4 pillars: prayer, consecration, excellence, marvelous friendship. Here they are. I'm going to take us on this little trip right here. Just come with me, okay? I think that we can be consecrated without God. We can do things to separate ourselves and call it consecration. We can do things to physically say, okay, I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to do those things on our own strength. And be like, okay, other religions do it. They don't have God. Some of those other religions are more strict than we are. Right? So you can cause legalistic separation. We can do that. We can do excellence without God. We want excellence to be in our school. There are schools that are non-Christian that are 30 times more excellent than we are when it comes to those things, right? When it comes to grades and being driven like that. There's schools out there that are just, wow, they're intense. And so we can be excellent too without God. And you guys can be friends. We can make friends. I was just talking to Ethan Young's mom. You guys remember Ethan Young? Connor's brother. Yeah, Connor's a little better looking, but just a little bit. But he's a pretty good looking older brother. We got a picture of him. I know you saw it too, right? With no hair. You look kind of crazy. When your mom showed me that picture, I was like, took my breath away just for a second. It was like, whoa, who's this guy? He's a Marine. He's a Marine. And he has marvelous friends because he grew up here at TDA. Jack and Noah and a few others in his class. But he's making friends now. It's kind of weird. These guys train together. These guys get hurt together. They don't sleep. They just get pushed to the very end of who they are. In a certain way, they're going to be marvelous comrades. This is not with God. It's just the way the world works. I don't have that background. Jeffrey does. Right? When you train with people, I'm sure you got some military brothers. They're just marvelous brothers, right? They're just marvelous as you go through stuff like that. But I want to and I'm not saying we should do that. When we do consecration, when we do excellence, when we do marvelous, we've got to have God. We've got to have God. I'm going to make you say some things. Turn to person, we've got to have God when we do that. But here's the point I'm trying to make is, when it comes to prayer, we can't do that on our own because it looks so silly, right? It looks so ridiculous, right? There's no benefit. We consecrate ourselves without God. Well, at least you still have separation. That can be healthy, nutritious, good for you. You do excellence without God, well, there might be a drivenness. You might make a lot of money. You might do all these other things that are associated with being excellent. You try and do friendships without God. That's interesting. I would say value your friends in God, right? But prayer is just a stark, black and white, nothing. There's nothing. We don't want to be saying empty words into the air. There's just no value in that, right? Imagine this. So I'll hit pause for just a second. Because I want to talk about what makes us different. So imagine we were living in a time where we're settling the promised land, right? And there's these Canaanites who just do weird stuff. They're offering up their young to this idol. And it's scary, right? We hear about the Hittites and their chariots and their weapons, their spears. We hear about the Amalekites and how vicious and cruel they are. And of course, the most famous, who are these guys? Philistines. They're giants. Double the size of a normal person. That guy's big. Like that's intimidating, right? If we feel like we're coming into this land and these are our neighbors, like we start hearing stories. You know what they do to their babies? You know what they do to their prisoners? You know what they do to their enemies' wives? This is scary, guys. This is so scary. And you know what they do on the battlefield? This dude's 9 feet tall. I grew up with this guy named Shaquille O'Neal. He's a giant. These guys are way bigger than that. I'm gonna use Judah as another example. When they go play soccer and they're like, the other team's big and they know it, he always comes to me. He's like, Dad, we're gonna get cooked. That's what he says to me. He's like, he's preparing me, but he's preparing himself. Because he's like, Dad, we're gonna get cooked. We just kind of know, here we go, you know? And I wonder, like, what the Israelites said when they turned to each other and be like, dude, we're gonna get cooked. Here we go. You know, let's hope for the best. But here's an interesting thing to think about. Take this journey with me. I know you've been coming with me for a lot of things. Imagine if you were an Amalekite, you're a Canaanite, you're a Hittite, you're a Jebusite, you're a Philistine, and you started hearing stories. You guys, there's 1 million slaves coming out of Egypt. What a joke. What a joke. We can defeat slaves. They don't even have weapons. Well, I'm sure they can mix them, but they're not as good as our stuff, right? But then stories start to circulate. Because they're like, but the Egyptians are tough. How did they escape the Egyptians? And stories start to come. Oh, the sea opened up for 1 million people to walk through. Stories start to circulate. Oh, I caught a glimpse of their camp, and there's this fire that hovers over this tent. I saw it. They're like, no such thing. No, I saw it. There's a fire that leads them. Wherever that fire goes, they follow it. Like, imagine these stories. Whether you want to believe it or not, like, you start to quake in your boots, because here they come. I hear more stories. When they fight, they don't even fight a lot of times. The enemy just kills themselves. 2 armies looking at each other, and I don't know, the wind starts blowing, the darkness starts coming, and their enemies just stab each other. That's crazy. And they have this box that 20 people carry. It's kind of weird, and they're dressed different. Whenever they carry this box into battle, it's a no-go. Nobody's winning. Nobody's winning. Like, to me, that's intense, right? To me, that's scarier than, whoa, they got really sharp swords. They got really fast chariots. Oh, they got like a guy that's 9.5 feet tall. But they don't have a pillar of fire that leads them. They don't have a God that can open the ocean or the sea to let them slip through, right? They don't have these things. It's crazy. I think that the promised land, the world knew the Israelites were coming, and it was terrifying. No matter how strong, no matter how prideful, no matter how strong your armies look, this was terrifying. This was like, we can't even imagine. We can't even imagine. We're the United States of America. Strongest military in the world by 20 times. A country wants to come after us, they're going to send 1,000 tanks. We're going to laugh. They want to send all their aircraft carriers. We got 3 times more. They want to send their nuclear submarines. We could sink them all within 10 minutes. That's crazy, right? But if we started hearing stories of an Israelite people that had a pillar of fire, whose enemies just died as they came into contact, that would start to scare us. Because it's something that our minds can't compute, right? We are called to host his presence. This is the temple. I love these pictures. This is the best picture right there, guys. What is that? That's our old school, guys. Listen up, our number one calling in this school, in this room, is to host his presence. And that's prayer. That's prayer and that's worship. I put this picture up here because we don't see a pillar of fire. But we experience God in this room, right? Yes? Yeah? Retreat's coming in 2 weeks. And we don't need to wait for a retreat, but I say that because the more students we talk to, retreats are a thing. Lives are changed here. People get healed. People's hearts get stirred to love Jesus. People get forgiven. It's a good time. I'm going to go back and forth here. Read this with me, John 15. You don't have to say it out loud, but in your heads read it with me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. This part you can say out loud. Say, bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Nothing. Thank you. If you remain in me and my words will remain in you, ask. This is prayer, guys. Ask what you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory that you bear much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. So, if He's the vine, if we remain in Him, you guys, every single morning we come together for assembly, we are remaining in Him. We are in His presence. When you go home and you read your word, when you go home and you listen to that worship music on your AirPods, when you spend time with God, you are in His presence. You're remaining in Him. His word's in you. And you will bear fruit. You'll be fruitful. But in the midst of that, I want us to learn to ask. Because here's the thing. When we've asked for things, they've come. Crazy things. Not everything. Not everything, guys. There's some people that we prayed for and it didn't work out. There's some people we prayed for and they were completely healed. Years ago, before this playground, I was a parent helper out there and we had the most rickety, rotten donation playground you can imagine. In elementary, at the time, they prayed for a playground. We thought that would be ridiculous. In the most weird way, this guy named Albert Pujols, the #1 Hall of Fame home run hitter, they sent their kids to our school here for a few years and asked us what we needed. We said playground. So they said, okay, here. And maybe we should ask for more, who knows, right? But we got a playground. It was awesome, right? We came back to our students. The students prayed for a gym. What's being built right outside of them? A gym. You guys, we should have went bankrupt. Instead, we bounced back. And he's building stuff. The adult leaders here, we asked God for better teachers' salaries. And He did it. But it's not because of us. Not because we're smart or worked harder. We got a gift. And so when I share these stories, guys, because when we ask, things happen. And I walked through that whole journey of the Amalekites and the Hittites and all the Canaanites. And I wonder what stories they heard as the Israelites were coming. I want us to imagine a reality where, like, Kansas City starts to hear about this place, because it should. Kansas City should know there is a small school in South KC that should have went out of business years ago. But somehow they bounced back and they're building a 33,000 square foot new building. Kansas City should know that people bring their sick to TDA and they leave not sick. That's crazy. We want Kansas City to feel there's this school down there that does crazy stuff. I walk in there at 8:30 in the morning and there's students with their arms lifted high and they're hosting what they believe is the presence of God. Like, let those stories begin to circulate. People have been on their deathbeds, in the hospital, and TDA will turn and lift their hands and face that direction, or sometimes the wrong direction, and pray, and they'll be healed. These are stories that I would love for that to begin circulating. Let the world know we're coming. And we're coming because of our dependency on God. We're coming because of our prayers. We're coming because we're hosting His presence. And here's the twist that I got last night. I was so, moved. And so, I think this is so interesting. So we have this Daniel 9:23 verse. And it's very confusing. It's right there in the very front of our building. But it talks about Daniel. It says at the very beginning of his prayers. And it talks about all these things that were released because Daniel prayed. Now, I want to set this up. I have 9 more minutes. Daniel was living at a time that we now call the exile. It was a time where there was no Israel. Israel was beaten down. Jerusalem was ransacked. And they took all the smart people and brought them to Babylon for 70 years. And this was all prophesied. Daniel finds these prophecies in the scrolls of Jeremiah. And he's like, oh, this is the 69th year. That means next year, we're going to be set free. And so Daniel begins to pray. And it's his prayers that release God and angels to move in a way where these things are fulfilled. And so last night I was thinking about the whole lion's den story. All right, you guys listen up. This is interesting. Adults, lock into. This caught me by surprise. We see Daniel. We see the other jealous, wise people. And we see them try to trap Daniel. And so they make this law and they say, if he prays, we get to send him in the lion's den. And Daniel does that. And they send him to the lion's den. And the story follows Daniel through the lion's den, which I think is beautiful. And it should. But get this. What if, and I'm not changing the rules here, what if we just took it at face value? What if the devil, what if the enemy knew the power of prayer and just simply wanted prayer to stop? Maybe this had less to do with King Darius and Daniel in the lion's den. So they issued this decree. It says, stop all prayer. Stop all prayer. Because prayer was about to unlock the freedom and restoration of Israel. We see that in Ezra, Nehemiah, and Haggai. This all follow Daniel. Quick succession. Because prayer unlocks the king's mind and heart to let the leaders of Israel go rebuild their wall, refocus on their law, and rebuild their city and the temple. This is crazy thinking. What if it was all to stop prayer? Because prayer is powerful. You guys, we used to have 2 hours of prayer per week. And I remember years ago, a parent was like, that's too much. Like, can we just do 1 hour? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I didn't want to be confrontational. I don't know. I was like, that's fine. We'll change it to 1 hour. And we took it, and this is like a little bit dangerous, but there's no names. We took an anonymous survey this year, at the end of last year's school year, and parents were like, not a lot, was like, let's just have no more requirements for prayer. That's just legalistic. And let's just not pray so much in our parent meetings, because we're busy. We didn't come to the parent meeting to pray. We came to the parent meeting to get all the information we need. And I get it. There's efficiency. I'm a business guy. Efficiency means a lot to me. But I wonder if there's just an attack on prayer, because the enemy knows prayer releases playgrounds. Prayer releases buildings like that. Prayer releases stuff we can't even comprehend. Healing and deliverance and freedom and more money to do more things, which is a good thing. And so I want to sit in this place and be like, you guys, we need to remember how powerful prayer is. We can't let it go. We can't let it go. There were moments where our Saturday prayer meeting, who's ever been to a Saturday prayer meeting here at TDA? They're good. I think they're good. As far as prayer meeting goes, there's some really sucky prayer meetings and some really great prayer meetings. I think ours are pretty good, right? There were times where our prayer meeting hit 70 people. That's a big prayer meeting. And I share these numbers because, even as a pastor, before we even came to Kansas City, prayer was a thing. It's hard to get people to come to a prayer meeting. At a church, we throw out numbers. At a church, you're lucky if 10% come to your prayer meeting. Lucky. And that's probably why God's not moving in a lot of churches. And if we want to see God move here, we've got to pray. And so I'm inviting you to come to our Saturday prayer meeting. Or I'm inviting you to go to one of your church's prayer meeting. Or I'm inviting you to really lock in when we pray here. You guys, because when we ask, man, God hears. That's a great question I can ask you guys. What are we asking for? In your prayer life, what are you asking for? Are you asking for anything? If you're not asking for something, you're missing out. If we as a school, we're not asking for something or a few things or a handful of things or maybe a list of 10 things, really specifically, we're missing out, right? Let's stand together. Worship can come on up here. We have 3 minutes. I just want us to embrace this pillar of prayer. We got 3 minutes to respond. But right where you are, right where you're standing, just dial in and be like, God, I want to pray. I want to be used for prayer. Say that in your own way, in your own heart. God, I want to partner with you in prayer. I want you to teach me the ways of intercession. I want you to show me what's on your heart so I can ask for those things, whether it's for our school, or whether it's for our teachers, or whether it's for our friends. God, show me the power of prayer and worship, hosting your presence.